Hi there, my name's Angela. I'm currently testing out this mic. You might hear a dock squeaking in the background. We are by the ocean. That will be happening. No worries though. I'm just here to talk a little bit about intention. I want to share some reflections that I've had in that realm. Yeah, I'm here to share. I'm excited to be in a beautiful place by the water. I can hear birds singing. I can feel the wind, and I'm thankful, and I am present in this moment and want to move with intention. So here I am. Well, you might hear a bit of birds and boats and the ocean and a dock creaking. This is where I am right now. I'm outside. I'm in a place I call home, where I feel like myself. And yeah, I'm here to share some thoughts, some reflections on intention of being present in my life. I aspire to create something that is both interesting and is packed full of deeper meaning and intention in life. I want to create something that can help others. I want to share things that may move others to start working towards their goals and what they love and trying new things and doing some things that maybe scare them. And so how I know how to do that is to show up on the internet, to share my wandering thoughts, feelings, lessons, all that may be, and to keep trying, because that is all we can really do, is just keep trying to attempt to show up, to be intentional in what we create, to create even if it's not perfect, to be incredibly human and to try over and over. So that is why I am here, is to share about intention, life, art, and the act of being present. It's in the becoming that we arrive. The birds agree. I aspire to create something that is both interesting and full of deeper meaning. I do not wish to hide from the dark things in life, to be completely encapsulated in fear in the precious moments that I do exist. I also do not wish to sweep things under the rug. I want to talk about reality, about the real things. I don't want to live in a fantasy world. I want to be so real and alive and genuine. And I don't think that's easy. I don't think I always get it right. I think that I am incredibly human, and we all are. We're very human and we make mistakes, and maybe that's the beautiful thing about life. Maybe it's not about this false idea of perfection and this thing that the internet seems to show us, but to come to the realization that perfection is the imperfect and beautiful way that we are so incredibly alive and real. All you can do is try over and over and over and over until maybe you get it right, and maybe you never do. But it's kind of fun to try. It's a little scary. I don't know. There's something about it. It's in the becoming that we arrive. I, in my becoming, wish to show up with intention, to offer something of meaning to this world, to share in a way that moves others, to run towards their own passion in the life that they wish to live. I hope that you act and you do what you wish in this life, and you find your way and you change lives of others in the best ways that you can. So I'm here to share that, to share lessons and to share ideas and all the more. So here I am. I want to start this off by saying I refuse to give up. I will keep trying over and over again, and yeah, maybe I will cry a little bit. Maybe I will get frustrated. Maybe it's not supposed to be easy, and I think it's about, for me in this life, embracing that and moving forward despite it, and to pass that on to others. Yeah, life is hard. Things get really difficult, but you should still keep going no matter what. Just keep trying. It might just work out. And doesn't that make the pain and frustration just a little bit worth it? So I hope you keep going even on the hard days, that you do it despite what others may think, what you've said to stop yourself. I hope you run towards your dreams and you stay passionate and you surround yourself with the ones that remind you of that over and over. I've had some things that I've been wanting to share about, some topics, some things I've been exploring and experiencing. There was this saying that kept running through my mind recently, especially yesterday. I kept thinking of get lost to find yourself. I think it is so important for us to not always stay in monotony, but to be able to push ourselves past what we're usually comfortable with, to explore, to navigate unfamiliar terrain, to say yes to things that you haven't tried before. Of course, like in moderation, but nonetheless, I think it's so important to get out of your comfort zone, to see just how much the world has to offer, to explore, to maybe find things that you love that you haven't had the chance to even know about in the first place. I think it can be really easy for life to go by really fast, to be caught up in monotony, to do the same thing over and over again. But I enjoy a balance of going slow, being highly intentional, but also being able to enjoy, to feel like passion, a lust for life, to try new things. A great example would be food. What are some things you haven't tried? And yeah, maybe in moderation, but trying like new flavors, new ways to even make like old dishes that you always go to. And I think that can apply to so many different realms of life as well, like getting lost in trying new recipes, meeting new friends, doing something you always do, like, I don't know, washing the dishes, maybe washing the dishes in a different way one day, listening to music that you don't always listen to. I think that reawakens something in us that can evoke like childlike wonder, and to enjoy seeing the world in a different light. I think something really beautiful about the lives we get to live is that you can be so many different things. It can be easy to hear from others like, oh no, you need to like stay the course, whatever it is. I mean, you could, but is that like what you really want to do? Do you want to do the same thing for the rest of your life? Or are you okay with shaking it up a little bit? I mean, we're only here for so long. Why not try new things? Why not explore? So that's been like a practice that I've engaged a lot with, is like, okay, sometimes I feel really stagnant and I don't want to be stagnant. I want to grow. I want to experience. I want to live life to its fullest. And it's on me to do that. It's not like, oh, my friends are boring, or blaming it on anybody else or this and that. It's about what I'm doing. I'm the one who decides my own actions. I get to decide the life that I live. And so I do things that scare me a little bit. I try things. I used to be so shy. And I still get kind of shy. I'm reserved with my energy. But something changed one day. I started wanting to talk to strangers. I think I always kind of did. I always had like thoughts, or like, oh, I like what they're wearing, this and that. And then someday something clicked and I said, why don't I tell them that I like their outfit? What is the worst that can happen? Mind you, I've had people who haven't had a great reaction to me complimenting them. That's okay. I did something that scares me. I think there is absolutely something to exposure therapy. I think it reawakens a different part of ourselves. It challenges us in an incredible way. So I hope you do something that really inspires you, awakens something exciting, that you try something different. I want to talk a little bit about psychology, actually, and how much it influences what I do. So I went to school for psychology. I went to university for psychology. I didn't realize that I was going to be doing psychology. I didn't really have a plan. I kind of came from a rough childhood, and yeah, wasn't really sure, was pretty unhealed, went through some really hard things, and I just kept gravitating towards psychology classes. I found them so interesting. I find humans so interesting, and the way that we can change from hard experiences, and I love success stories, like the hero's journey. So I would love to read when I was younger too. And I think psychology is really that in-depth exploration of what the self can be and what humans can become and the way we go about the world. I highly admire Carl Jung and the things that he wrote about. I especially like Man and His Symbols. I think that's a great starter book for getting into Carl Jung. The way he talks about interpreting the world through symbology is unlike any other. It is a knowledge and a way of deconstructing the self and the way you interpret your world and your life. That is just so profound, and something when I was working on The Artist Way, I really started to see a lot of symbols, and really thinking about what do I want out of life, and exploring different parts of the self and my art and expression. So yeah, nerding out a little bit about psychology, but just to share what more of what I enjoy. If you want me to talk more about it, I'm always happy to. But yeah, I would say that's something that really, really changed me in the way I see the world. Adventuring into the unpredictable. I think there is an art to stepping into the self. It involves studious nature, observing, watching closely, some part of you that may wish for change, to understand, to see something so much more than the same thing over and over again. I once dreaded the life I lived in, and in action and reaching for the life I dreamed of, I kept stepping closer to it. I kept doing things that made me feel less stuck. I started to feel like maybe life was worth it, that the hard things were somehow worth it. And maybe that's just part of me explaining it all away and hoping in a pretty unbearable world, but I don't know. I think there's something to that common saying of romanticize your life. I think it's true. I think it's okay to reach for something more, to break old habits. And to do that requires action, dipping your toes into the unpredictable, breaking old patterns that have haunted you for so long. I think it takes a bit of analysis of your mindset, of watching yourself and the way you react to things, of stepping lightly and conscientiously in a world that wants you to rush. because it benefits from you failing. I think there are things like going slow, laying down and meditating, of listening to the sound of trees, of going outside, watching animals and life actually flow, rather than getting caught up in this human fantasy of, oh, I need this, I need that, I'm not good enough, whatever it may be, and breaking away from that over and over, of catching yourself in negative mindsets, of changing your perspective, remembering just how small you really are in the grand scheme of things, and realizing just how precious these moments are. To do this, I go outside, I paint, I surround myself with others who challenge me and remind me that I am not my thoughts, but I am something so much more. I am constantly evolving. I am not just my body. I am something so much more. I get to take care of this body, the relationships in my life, the self, and to aspire to something much greater. I think that is the unpredictable unknown is life itself. How it is just so incredibly vast, and you can get so lost in it. And I think what can really bring you back to yourself, and also to bring you back to yourself, but also to find or create a completely new self, is the courage of exploring, of breaking those stagnant habits, moving the body, going outside, doing art, talking to strangers. Don't keep repeating the same thing over and over. Keep trying something new, and it might just work out. I would also say challenging like low vibration thoughts by asking yourself questions and others questions to remove yourself if another seems like they really aren't resonating with you, of taking control of your life, challenging yourself, of wondering, of exploring while you have the chance. You are not stuck. You can free yourself. If I'm being honest, I do mourn the fact that I spent a lot of time really scared of being myself, of sharing, of how much pain I went through, and that it had taught me for a long time to be shut off from the world, and that I had to relearn and really reconsider how I wanted to go about the rest of my life. I think it's so easy to live in fear, but I think there's a courage to deconstructing that and trying to find hope and passion for life despite how difficult things can be. And I often have to remind myself of that, especially in hard moments, because they're gonna come. It's gonna rain. It might not always be sunny, but it does get sunny, and even rainy days can be beautiful. So yeah, I think just trying to keep showing up, being alive to your fullest, reaching for what you do truly crave in this life, and yeah, treating every moment as if it is precious, and that you savor each moment. To be even slightly open, you do risk getting hurt, but I think it is worth it to try over and over. Even as embarrassing as it might seem, I wouldn't have it any other way. I think that it makes me feel more alive when I try things that are out of my comfort zone. I think exposure therapy is kind of like, it makes things a little bit more interesting. It changes things up. And how exciting is that? Like, to always be able to change and try something new.